Okay, welcome back. This week we're going to work on graphing data. And we're going to work through 4 types of graphs. Each is going to be in its own video. So we're going to start with scatterplots and work from there. With this one, we'll do a brief overview of graphing. So let me share my screen. You all have the file open, right?
Yes.
So at the top of this file is a brief breakdown of the features in R. R can produce basic graphs really simply, but the great thing about using R is that there's a lot of options you can customize. And this lays out some of those options. There's more than this. The top 3 commands are different types of graphs you could use. And then all of these different features will apply to all of them. So this will be at the top of the page, so if anybody needs to go back, it's a useful reference, but we'll sort of pick these up and go over them iteratively. We're not going to do all of these with any of the graphs. We'll sort of build them in as we go to look at the different features. Here's a link to a list of colors in R. R has an incredible number of colors that you can use in a graph. This is the file here. You get sort of a feel for how much you can customize any graph in R. And so we'll use some of those as we go. So to start off, we're going to do a scatter plot. We're going to read in the package AER, which has a data set called MA Schools with data on Massachusetts schools. If you haven't seen this before, I think we used it in one of the previous videos. You can see the variables here. This is the list of the names, and this is the top couple of lines. Did I cut somebody off?
No, I was just making a "my schools" joke.
It's an excellent joke.
Do it again.
So a scatter plot will be used if you're graphing 2 numeric values, 2 columns that both have numbers, and generally those numbers should have a wide range of observations, probably at least 100 different values. And so with a scatter plot, what you can see quickly is the relationship between 2 different things. Each point on the scatter plot is going to be the unique combination of those 2 values. And so if we produce a basic scatter plot with the command plot, and we want to fill in both of the columns that we want. So I've taken the salary, which is the average salary at schools in Massachusetts for each individual school, and their test scores in the 4th grade. And if I run this, we get this scatter plot. So each of these points is the score and the salary for this school. And so we can see the relationship between those 2 things together. And we generally can see that the 2 trend up. Schools that pay more for their teachers or are able to pay more generally score better, although there are a few outliers that don't join that general trend. This is the basic plot though. This is how it will sort of come out by default. The box around the plot will be on all sides. All 4 sides, it'll be a box surrounding it. The labels on the axes will just be the name of the data set and the column name. The dots will be an empty circle. There's no title on the graph. And so this is really a sort of basic canvas that gives you a simple overview of your data. This probably isn't a graph that's going to be published on the New York Times, though. And so we want to start adding some features to this graph to make it look a little bit more attractive. And so,
hey, quick question.
Yeah.
Does the axes start with like the smallest value in the data set? Is that the default there?
Generally, yeah. It's going to sort of do the minimum it needs to display all of the data.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not going to, as you can see here, it's not going to default to starting at 0. It's going to, this here, it's defaulted to 25 and 660 around, whatever the least it needs to use. So it's using the data to produce it. So I'm going to add a few features to make this look a little bit more attractive. I'm going to add a title to the graph so that we know what it's showing. I'm going to change the color of the dots, and I'm going to make the dots solid instead of empty. And so to do that, I've got the same exact command, plot with salary and score. I know that salary will be on the x-axis because it's taking the first position in plot. This plot is essentially looking for plot x, y. And so whatever goes first will always be on the x-axis. Whatever goes second will go on the y-axis. And so I'm going to make the color blue. As I showed, there are a lot of different colors you can use, and the names can get quite specialized. But if you use a basic name like blue or red, it will be in the system. The PCH stands for point character. And that is just saying what type of shape do you want for your dots. 16 is the most common. It's just a solid dot. And I'm going to add the title, main, teacher salaries, and test scores. So we can look how that.
Is there just like a list somewhere of what those point characteristics are? You just look them up?
Yeah, if you Google point characteristics in R, there is a list. There are many lists. You can see all these. If you want @ signs on your graph, you can use @ signs.
Okay.
I rarely see anything other than solid dots, but occasionally people make good use of those.
So another question here, does the order that you have this information in matter beyond the XY? So for instance, could you have given your XY values and then done main before you did the color and the point characteristic?
After the first two things, the order of all this doesn't matter. You can shift these around in whatever order they occur to you to add, and it won't make any difference. So that's one of the easier things. As if you were sort of adding iteratively to a graph to make it sort of adjust, you don't have to update the order of how you're putting things in. So any order on those will work perfectly well. So this is a basic scatter plot that's customizing a few of the options. So now it is time for one of you to try.
All right, I can give that a try, I guess. Although you've disabled screen sharing again. Get with it, Van Holm.
Who can share? All participants.
All right. Sharing my screen. Okay, so let's see. I won't forget this time. Put in my code chunk.
Yes.
Making progress, making progress.
I would have forgotten.
Well, I'm not going to forget. All right, so we need a plot showing the relationship between scores in 8th grade and the income of parents. All right, so need to plot MA, my schools, plot my schools. No, yep. All right. I wasn't sure if it was plural or not. Plot my schools. Let's see, 8th grade score. So that's score 8. And my schools income. That look good so far? Now I've got to do color green. Let's see, PCH. I'll go solid here because that seems like what cool kids do.
Switch it up.
All right, give me something else. Should I just pick a random number and see what happens?
Anything under 25 should do something.
Anything under 25. All right, I'm gonna go 14. See what that looks like, and add a title. Donnie, give me a title idea. Donnie's face.
Nope.
Oops. I need the. There we go. There we go. Hold on. Is that wrong?
No, that's good.
Uh-oh. What did I do wrong, guys? What did I do wrong?
So R can't find MA schools in your environment. Why?
All right.
Oh, you didn't load your.
It didn't load. Can I load that first, like in the same code string?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my schools. Do I need quotes here? I probably do.
So
Oh.
this is it's in the code above. So library is for packages. Data is for data.
Data. There we go. And then, does that look good, or do I need quotation marks?
That should work.
Yeah, Donnie's face. That is a beautiful graph.
That looks nothing like me.
All right, I guess I'll stop sharing then.
Yeah.
Is that exercise one?
Yeah. So come back for the next graph, which is a histogram.